The summer before Farren died, when I was about 10 years old, Farren guided me on my first long trip to the mountains near my home, Plymouth Peak. We were to be gone all day, and although we didn't own saddles, we borrowed two from the Wellings. I didn't know anything about saddles, and I doubt Farren did either, but he never let on. Father, no doubt, checked the cinches before we left. We really only owned one riding horse, Prince, so Farren chose King as his mount. I was pleased to ride on our pony Prince. Of the three boys, Farren was the best with animals and most experienced cowboy, even though he was 2.5 years younger than Harold. We would never have dared ride King in the spring or early summer, but it was August. The summer farm work was nearly finished, and King had lost much of his spring vigor. We carefully tied our lunches to the saddles, adjusted the lengths of our stirrups, and got a feel for our animals by riding around the front lawn and along the gravel path leading up to the dining room bay window. After saying goodbye to all the family who came out to wish us well, we left for the mountains about mid-morning. We never went very fast. I'm not sure if Farren dared give King a full rein. Eventually we passed all the familiar territory, our farms and those of others, and began our ascent up the foothills. We no sooner started to climb when Farren made me promise that I would not look back until we arrived at the top ridge north of Cutler Dam. I kept my promise, and though it was a long wait, it was worth it. We turned and looked back. There before my eyes I could see the small checkered fields below, and the little towns of Fielding, Riverside, East Garland, Tremont, and all the way to the Great Salt Lake. I had never seen this sight before, and it has left a lifelong impression on me. Although my travels have carried me to the cities of New York, London, San Francisco, Sydney, Washington, D.C., Paris, and the islands of the Pacific, I have never been more impressed than I was when Farren, my closest friend and brother, and I pulled our horses to a stop, turned to view the valley of our birth, to study the homes, trees, farms, and roads, looking like a miniature town site. Before night fell, we rode on further, where we could look down into Cache Valley and rest our horses on a little grassy spot by a mountain stream. There we ate our lunch, talked of the fun we were having, and debated whether we had time to ride to the top of Plymouth Peak and return home. We chose to go home before dark. I had experienced one of the most memorable trips of my life. Is it any wonder, when I stood by Farren's hospital bed in Tremont a few months later, that I wept almost uncontrollably as he passed away mid-morning on that very sad April day? Farren had taught me by example to choose a good mount, worthy of a king or a prince. Climb with someone who loves and admires the mountains around. Rarely climb my other. Resist temptations of intermediate pleasure to fully enjoy the summit. And do all of this when young, so even ordinary visits leave a lasting impression. I returned to the mountain a few years later on a different mount, Patches. Alone, except for my yellow collie Tip, it was disappointing. I never reached the summit or the grassy pasture where Farren and I rested our horses and ate our lunch alongside a mountain stream. In my attempt to climb even higher on Plymouth Peak, a dense cloud engulfed the three of us, Patches, Tip, and me, and for a while I lost my orientation. I was prompted to go down below the cloud. I wish Farren were with me. Perhaps he was. When I dropped down below the cloud, I was relieved to see the familiar Bear River flowing in the valley below, which I had seen with Farren for the first time some years before from much the same elevated location. My trip to the mountains had been rewarding. However, it was not as memorable as the first time. Some experiences can never truly be relived, and perhaps it's better that we don't attempt. Would seeing the Taj Mahal alone be as thrilling if visited now as it was when Phyllis and I admired its beauty, and sat peacefully in front of it in February of 1983? God gave us this beautiful world to preserve and enjoy. Its beauty is enhanced when we enjoy it with someone we love and admire. The trip Farren and I took to Plymouth Peak remains as one of the most memorable experiences of my life. I'm so pleased we didn't put it off until it was too late.
The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and I cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I'll always love you and make you happy, and nothing else could come between. But if you leave me to love another, you'll have shattered all of my dreams. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.